Hi, I'm Hugo Monnier, and you're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate.
You're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate, a Bristol Bears podcast made by fans for fans. We're 2, soon to be 3 season card holders at Ashton Gate. We love the club, the game, and all things Bears. Well, it was the last game of the regular season, and what a game it was. A phenomenal victory away at Quins, putting 50 points on the boys from South West London. It was an absolutely great day, and we were there on the supporters coach at the game, on the coach on the way back. We'll be discussing our end of season road trip, as well as lots of other things that came from the day. I'm Lee.
I'm Miles.
And I'm Peter.
Hang on a minute, boys. That ain't right, is it? We still haven't sobered up.
And why should we? After yesterday, why should we sober up?
Why should we? What a day it was. Well, look, lads, we ought to just explain to listeners that we're not in our usual place. We did actually go down the Bristol Beer Factory tap room to try and get our usual space in the corner of the studio bar, only to find that they've changed management and they didn't know anything about us at all. So,
and it's been overtaken by a load of graffiti artists.
Yeah, so it's some sort of Upfest seminar or something like that.
Graffiti artists kick the piss artists out.
I like it.
Yes, yeah.
Even though we're a family show.
Oh, yes. Apologies.
So we had to come up with a quick plan B, didn't we, boys? So the plan B is that we are back in the what was our original pod studio, which is my kind of, well, I don't know what we call it.
Well, I call it the gin palace, looking at your bookshelf, mate.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is where my other half stacks all her gin. And as to be honest, there's still quite a lot of it there. I mean, I wish she'd drink some of it. It might make it
crack into a few of those.
Might make her a bit more fun.
She might be a few bottles down by 10 o'clock tonight.
She might be. She might not. She wouldn't even realise. Well, anyway, we do digress. So just to summarise, we did go to the Harlequins yesterday. We're still probably suffering from it. We're actually at my house rather than the Bristol Beer Factory tap room, but we're absolutely full of it, and we can't wait to get chatting about our experiences yesterday. But before we do that, we've got a little bit of a treat for everybody, because we actually did make an effort to get some sound bites yesterday. So we've got some sound bites from before, during, and after the game as well. So what I thought we'd do, boys, is if we just play all our little audios all the way through, and then we can talk about the day after that. So we ready for that?
Let's go for
Let's
it.
do it. Let's do it. So we're here at the Stoop with 3 first-time away trip fans. Do you want to give us your names?
Alice. I'm Mary. I'm Heather.
So, girls, what do you think? How was the journey, first of all?
It was good. It went quickly. It went really quick. Couple wee breaks.
Yeah, I should say you're on the supporters coach. That's right.
We're on the supporters coach.
Did you sit next to anyone interesting?
Sat next to Lee.
Sat next to Lee, did you? It's not
interesting.
No reserved seating.
Couple ciders. I
Heather,
just blinked and I was here.
You slept most of the way.
Yeah,
I
slept most of the way.
And Alice, you enjoy it?
Yeah,
Went to the toilet a few times?
Yeah, it was nice to get involved with the supporters club. We've never been with them before, so it was nice. Everyone was very welcoming.
It's a very impressive organisation.
Yeah.
So, we're here, we're having a few beers. What are your thoughts on the game?
I'm excited. It's an important game. Yeah. It could go one of 2 ways.
It could go one of 3 ways, though. We could win, we could lose, we could draw.
We could draw, that's the
So you're excited. Heather, what about you? Now you've woken
Yeah,
up.
I'm really excited for this game, actually.
So what do you think's going to happen?
I hope we win. I hope so. Prem Rugby have predicted we lose by 3. But you never know. The Bears can always bring it back.
And final word then, Alice. Your thoughts, prediction?
I think we've got a good chance. We just need to be a bit more well-behaved than we were last week against Sarries.
Brilliant. There you go. So I'm here with a Quins fan down at the Stoop. Could you give us your name and tell us how you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, I think my name's Michael. I'm from Frenchay. Just moved there, and but you can move the Quins fan from Twickenham, but you can't move the Quinn out of the pan. So I think it's going to be a wonderful game, 2 attacking teams, and I think something sort of 45-43, don't know to whom, but definitely a tri-fest.
Brilliant, a Bristolian Quinn, that's what we like. So lads, it's half time, we're 21-14 up. It's been a harem-scarum sort of half, everything we hoped for in many ways. But Lee, what's your thoughts on it?
really impressed. I think we've come out right from the start, all guns blazing. Really impressed with the way we've played, the effort that we've showed, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know we're a couple of men down now, but I cannot fault the commitment. I think we've been brilliant first half.
And Miles, we've seen some scintillating rugby. Some people might say it was phenomenal rugby, but we have made a few mistakes and turned it over. We've got a few injuries. How do you think we're going to play the second half?
Yeah, we've had some solid play in our first half. Our first place play out through our backs has been phenomenal. We've picked gaps in the Queen's back line and scored some great tries. My worry is that we've lost some key players due to big hits from Quins, and it's going to be an attritional second half. We've now got to hang on and try and get the win.
But we still believe.
Yeah, we still believe. We've scored 3 tries, get the bonus point, and this is the whole point of having a squad system. These boys that have come off, Jake Walmore, 150 caps, is on the park. Remy Vakatawa, French international, on the park. We can do this, boys, we can do it. Come on, you Bears! So we're with Jake Walmore, 150 caps for the Bears, a legend. Looking a bit sweaty though, I've got to say, mate, after the game. What were your thoughts on that today?
Well, firstly, I thought it was extremely hot. A bit sunburnt, as you said, very sweaty. Thoughts were, look, we came here knowing we had to try and get 5 points and put ourselves in the best position to get top 4. All we could do was control the controllables of what was going on the pitch today and then see what happened. Unfortunately, the other results didn't go our way, but we couldn't have done, I don't think we could have done a better job than we did out there. We probably displayed every part of our game well. We're scoring more tries, we're flair, like everything happened in that game. Defensively, we had really good patches. I just think, unfortunately, it just didn't roll our way elsewhere.
And when you came on, I think there was a scrum penalty straight away, wasn't there?
Hey, you said it. You said it. Hey,
the facts speak for themselves, mate. Okay, one last thing. So, what have us Bears fans got to look forward to next season?
I think more of that. I think we put ourselves in a good place compared to the first half of the season to now. I think we've grown. We look like the team that we want to be, and I think we just build on that. Like what we put out there today, I think just builds us confidence for next season.
That's great stuff. Wise words. Cheers, mate. Good luck next season.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, lads, that was not bad. I thought that was quite a nice little bit of audio there. It kind of summarised quite nicely our journey. I mean, it got a little. The audio was a little bit screechy in the middle, wasn't it? And we did manage to get a few words from Big Jake Walmore after the game.
Absolutely.
Because it was so good, wasn't it? After the game, so chilled out. Everybody got on the pitch. The boys were just like chilling out in the chairs. You gave Jake some of your Thatcher's gold, didn't you?
I did,
he nearly, he did down in one. That was it. It went.
I know, I was gutted.
I got to say, we did. We're going to talk about the game and stuff, but I almost talked backwards there. It was such a great atmosphere at the end, with everyone just feeling really relaxed. There was no grief. People were mingling. The players were mingling. The ref was out there. We had a picture with the ref, didn't we?
You talk about chilling out. Literally, Big Steve Luatua was nearly horizontal, sitting in the sunshine.
It was like he was on the beach, wasn't
chatting
it?
to the fans,
Brilliant.
taking his socks off. He was loving it post-up.
Yeah,
Good lad.
we had some nice old chats. We met old Benjamin Grondona, didn't we? The future of rugby. Very well spoken and very good English. Very lovely that. Who else did we talk to? We talked James Dunn. We had a good chat with Danny. Who was had a phenomenal game yesterday.
He did, yeah.
We saw Siva. We gave him a little nod.
Yeah.
We said, look, if you need a little bit of extra work on the passing and catching, we could do it now. He said, mate, I'm a bit hot. I said, we'll leave it then. We'll leave it. Who else did we see?
Remy Vakatawa.
Remy. And actually, interestingly, we should have asked him about his contract negotiations, hasn't it? Because
still under negotiation.
I mean, we could have said, look, Remy, we'll give you a regular Sunday night spot on Bears Beyond the Gate.
BS3.
That could have been the clincher.
Yeah, it could have been.
So maybe Pat needs to get on the blower.
Maybe next time.
And who else did we see? I forget. Oh yeah, we saw the ref. We saw that. We saw a few people, didn't we? It was good fun.
I mean, the referee was fantastic.
Thought he was really good.
I just thought that was probably the best refereeing performance I've seen all season.
Yeah.
No cards for the whole match.
No cards. He let the game flow as well, and it was just exactly what you wanted for that particular game, wasn't it?
He was a bit of a unit when we got up to him. He was quite a big lad. He had a
Well,
tattoo. He had like kind of Japanese writing on his inside of his arm.
Me and Lee, we weren't checking out his frame, were we?
No,
It was a
but
nice
his
lad.
rig.
But you know,
His rig.
You know, Pete loves a rig.
He had a filthy rig. Filthy rig. Where the hell did that ever go?
Where's that guy gone?
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked good. Adam Leal. I think he's got a
Yeah.
big future, that boy. He looked to me like the new Wayne Barnes, I thought.
Potentially.
You heard it here
Very
first.
professional.
So anyway, boys, let's talk about the game. I mean, as I think we highlighted last week, we said we were going to go. It was a pre-planned.
Talked about it.
We talked about it and then we executed.
Yeah.
And we all got on the supporters coach at 10 o'clock from Redcliffe. It's great fun on the supporters coach, isn't it? Because there's a whole range of people, young and old. You know, new Bristol, old Bristol,
Kids.
There was a couple of
Retirees,
kids, retirees, and there was. I mean, we ended up sitting on the back seat with, three people from Withywood.
We did. Well, actually, two people from Withywood, one from Stockwood, we should say.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, I mean, all the ages, as you say, but everyone 100% behind Bears, and I loved that. It was banter, literally flying around that coach all day, wasn't it?
What was funny was literally we got to nearly. We were. I say we weren't late, but the coach was full, wasn't it? We got shafted up. You know, extracted toward the back seat. Immediately, people said like, "I recognise your voices. Are you Bears beyond the gate?" And we're like, "Oh, here we go." But yeah, loved it.
We had our heads down.
Yeah. Like, but the minute we got on, like, it's Marsley and Pete. We're like, well, who's who?
And I mean, I'm sure we're kind of known as the kind of edgy fans. And if we were a band, I'm sure people would assume that we're the ones that trash hotel rooms and stuff like that, smash the amplifier with the guitar. And funnily enough, we lived up to that.
Well, hang on a minute, because should we come onto this right away?
Let's get it done.
Talking about trashing hotel rooms. So, as some of the fans who may not have had the appreciation of getting on the supporter bus, understandably, a few beers flow by about lunchtime. It's an away trip, etc. However, within 5 minutes, Pete had poured his beer over the floor, hadn't he?
I just got the yips big time.
You really did, didn't you?
Asking the head of the supporters club, Kaylee, if she has any tissues to wipe up his beer.
And it wasn't to wipe up the trousers, it was because it was flowing like a river down the front.
The thing is, you can do that sort of thing once and get away with it, can't you?
I know.
But hang on after that, Miles.
Well, I turned around and Pete, for the second time, had poured beer over me. I mean, twice in one trip. And this was on the outward journey, wasn't it?
Mate, I had an absolute shocker with those.
did.
I'm surprised the Supporters Club didn't charge you double for that trip.
It was as bad as Genji's knock-on against Saracens last weekend, wasn't it?
I think we can definitely say that the game plan didn't work for Pete, did it?
I mean, the intent was there.
He didn't execute.
The intent was there.
Oh, the plan was fine. You can't fault my effort, can you? I mean, I was in the right place. The system was working. It was just total basic skills.
Can I talk about the system? I mean, Pete was drinking like a can of real ale out of like a plastic bag, like a sort of homeless man off North Street, Southfield. I mean, the writing was on the wall, wasn't it? I mean,
So to be honest,
that's no disrespect to those lovely folk outside Aldi, Bedminster.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, any respect that I might have had amongst any
lost
supporters
immediately.
is lost immediately. So I apologise to Eagle coaches for the slight whiff of ale on the coach.
By 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a great journey. We were also joined by a kind of what I might call a new wave of supporter.
You're right.
When we stopped at Hawfield, we had three young ladies got on, and there were literally only 3 seats left. One was next to Lee on the back seat, one was in front of me, and one was Heather, who we heard earlier. She found a seat down there and promptly fell asleep. So, as well as having some proper old, historical, traditional Bears fans with us, and us as the kind of almost like we're the kind of, I like to think we're the sort of voice of the rebrand, as it were, the Bears. And then we had the 3 girls with us who were the newbies, and they were hilarious. Weren't they a good laugh? And I think it was actually one of those things where you have 3 different sort of types of people together. And then we also had Kaylee and her mum, and we had the committee of the Supporters Association, all in the kind of in a space of about 6 seats. I mean, that was a proper cocktail of support, wasn't it?
That was a concentration of support there, wasn't it?
And I've got to say to all of those people, we had a great time. It was really nice to meet you all.
Did.
And I hope we weren't, too embarrassing, or I think we were all brilliant. We all had nice chats with everybody, didn't we? And
it was. I think everyone was just so happy, weren't they?
We were kind of happy going there, weren't we? That was the thing. We all went there knowing that it was a bit of an outside chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
We knew that we were going to try and play rugby. And obviously, despite the result, the result was great. Despite the kind of outcome of the result not being quite what we hoped, it was a great atmosphere on the way back. And I can't recommend highly enough going on the supporters coach every now and again. If you've never been on the supporters coach to a away trip, it's actually a really good laugh. And actually, to be honest, after the game, you have about an hour to chill out afterwards, and it's just great getting back onto a coach and getting home and not having to worry about getting a train or drive and stuff like that.
I back you up there. I mean, we've only done the supporters coach on one away trip to Leicester a couple of seasons ago. That was a great occasion, wasn't it? But this, we've got nothing to compare it to, but it's our second year as a supporters coach in 3 years. But this was like a massive tick. We loved every minute of it. The mix of young and old, experienced, fans, etc. was bloody brilliant. And it just made me feel like, let's get in on that again next season. It was amazing trip.
Okay, well, let's work our way through the game. We got there. We got there. We managed to get there without. Well, we did spill, but we got there, parked up. We had about an hour and a bit before the game.
Yeah, we did.
So, boys, first impressions when you got to the Stoop, Lee. What do you think about it? What was the atmosphere like when we got there?
I thought it was fantastic right from the off. I have to admit, there was a load of real good banter with Quins fans as soon as we got in, and I loved the fact the stadium. I don't know what the capacity is, but I mean, it's not the biggest stadium in the world, is it?
I'll give you a fact check. Well, it was a capacity sellout, 12,362.
Yeah. And that ground has everything you want in a rugby stadium. Everything.
It's so well designed. You've got this. It's close to the stage, to the pitch. And obviously, a lot of people out there have been there before, but those who've never been there. But you've got a walkway around, and so there's a gap, and you can just. It was so refreshing. In that first hour, we wandered down. The players are just warming up. Pat's there. Dave Walder's there. People are chatting. The TNT Sports people are getting. We saw Flats, didn't we? We saw Martin Bay. We had a little chat. It was so well natured.
Exactly. That's what I loved. How accessible everyone was. We could speak to people. Literally just walk past on the. Alongside the pitch, and it was fantastic.
No, and I mean, I've got to say, we didn't queue for a beer.
No, not at all.
We didn't queue for a pasty.
No.
And then what was even better is when we worked our way around to the London Pride stand, there was some sort of techno DJ on there, and it was the atmosphere around me and Lee had a bit of dad dancing.
We did,
and if you want to see that,
we nearly got thrown out.
Yeah, if you want to see me and Lee dad dancing, you can see it both on our Instagram account and on our Twitter account as well. And but we were just getting into the vibes, weren't we, mate? It felt like Quins put on a show. They really think about their match day experience, and I know that they've had those Friday night games with fireworks and light shows. And I got to say, we have got a fantastic stadium at Ashton Gate, and we know that if we hadn't have moved to Ashton Gate, there wouldn't be a rugby club.
Yeah, of course.
And it is a great stadium in many ways. But one of the things we've always been a little bit ambiguous about is that kind of interactivity. And it did, unfortunately, Stoop did show it up. It showed us what rugby's really about.
Yeah.
And there was no niggle. It wasn't like people. Even after the game or on the pitch, there was no kind of. I don't think I think even the Bristol players just felt really comfortable, didn't they? There was and I just sort of think it's something we banged on about a lot, and we know there's structural issues with this, but we've just got to somehow get that vibe back.
We need to get that type of atmosphere at Ashton Gate, because without that, we are missing something. It doesn't help when the players are taken away from us pretty much. We see them walk through for 2 minutes after a game, and then they're upstairs in their own little,
It's just a shame you can't walk round the front of Ashton Gate. You can walk round the back. It's a great stadium.
It's great.
But it was the Quins thing, just having that walkway that joins the whole stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
Right. There were some big ticks to the Stoop Big tick. We'd never been there before.
Yeah.
We were
I've been there once,
okay. We were invited in by the Quins fans. A bit of a downside is Quins fans wearing like blazers of Quins. You know,
But that's what they
Let's
do.
not talk about that.
That's
Anyway.
what they do.
That's
That's
what they do.
that.
Yeah.
You're right. The fact you can walk around the entire pitch, you can walk in and out, bar 10 minutes either side of the kickoff, rightly so, in and out the players' tunnel, was fantastic. You could walk from stand to stand to stand, unimpeded, can't you?
Yeah.
Pretty much, apart from kickoff, etc. You can walk down to the pitch. There's bars in every section of the pitch. And the food outlets are not congregated under the concourse like they're at Ashton Gate, which I loved that. Big tick.
Yeah.
DJ just outside, you know.
Plenty of those little beer outlets as well, so you didn't have to queue in the big
I
places.
meant to post this on our Instagram. You know, the biggest tick for me was like a self-pouring beer machine.
Yeah.
You know, how many times have we harped on about Ashton Gate?
Yeah.
It's simple. People either want Thatcher's or a lager or an IPA. Get it sorted, and Quins have really done that. But I don't know. It's a sole rugby club, no football involvement. But you know, we've got to get this sorted, and Quins did it brilliantly.
And we should say as well, not just that, but the Quins supporters were brilliant. I mean, you know, bearing in mind this was their team were going for fourth as well.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like they didn't have anything to play for, and yet. It was a fantastic game of rugby, and there was people coming up to us at the end, shaking our hands, saying, "Well done, commiserations, not getting the top four, but what a brilliant game!" And we've had some brilliant comments of on our post today on Twitter, haven't we?
Yeah. You know, at times I felt fearful for my life, but do you know why? Not that the stadium was about to fall apart, not that the scaffolding was about to collapse, but the absolute sound and vibration going through our fan from only 12,300 fans was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You cannot knock. Like the first time we've been there, I mean, that is a massive rugby experience at the Stoop, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that leads me to think like I would go back there again and again and again. We loved every minute
And
of
I
it.
think on that note, I'll mention the fact I put a little tweet out saying, love the Stoop, love the game, love the ale, love the ref too. Thanks, Carla Quinn.
Didn't like the beer prices, but we love.
Well, but it's London, mate.
Yeah, London
It ain't
pride.
that far more.
Yeah,
it was really
exactly.
expensive, but you've got to accept that. And we had a lot of replies from that, and obviously a few Harlequins fans had replied. Friends of the Stoop. They said, deserve the win and glad you enjoyed the Stoop. And then we had Harlequin 1974. He said, not seen a better away side performance at the Stoop in a long time. And that's
really
that's
respectful of
respect.
it. Yeah,
That's
for
respect.
Queen's fan.
Absolutely.
And also we had Ian Kozlowski, who I think is a Bears fan, because his comment was, it was a great day out. Great to have a PA which had bass and voice clarity so you could hear what was going on in the music. And I've got to say, we talk a lot about atmosphere at the Ashton Gate. Sort the basics, get the PA system in the Dolman sorted,
But is it,
and then use it properly.
But is it too big? Big
Is
football
it?
stadium,
Is it too big?
27,000.
Is it too
Yeah,
big?
is it
I
too
don't
big?
know. That's maybe for another time. So, boys, so we've talked a lot about we haven't even talked about the game yet, have we?
We haven't.
And
Talking
of
about
course,
the atmosphere.
everybody knows we won. Everybody knows we put 50 points on Quins. And, Miles was been on camera shouting, Quinstanbul, Quinstanbul.
And I've written him
as
in
a
a
madman.
notebook today as well.
And although I did pull him up a little bit on that, because I said, we have purged that. But unfortunately, we still have to win a semi-final at some point to really purge the concept of it.
It has to be a like-for-like win, doesn't it?
But it was fantastic, and I think that is now that something with the word "bull" at the end is
Put
now
to bed.
put to bed. It's been put to bed with dry robes.
The voodoo
It's been put to bed with
is done.
Yeah, what was the other thing we put to bed recently? We put to bed dry robes.
Dry robes, Quinstanbul.
We put to bed. No, that was it. We put to bed Quinstan stroke Bristanbul.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put to bed PA systems, are we? We're not going to put to bed
that's still
Absolutely
ongoing.
not.
Okay. So anyway, we came expecting a fast start, didn't we? That's what we expected. And Lee, I mean, when you talk about fast, I mean, it was rapido.
It really
First minute. Can you remember who scored?
55 seconds.
Well, I remember that Gabs had done a brilliant break, didn't he? And it was one of those. I almost thought because he nearly made it himself to the try.
Yeah, he did.
And he just got tapped right at the end, didn't he? But recycled the ball.
So quick.
And it was big Jimmy Williams, wasn't it?
It was in the corner.
And it was, what was that, about 50 odd
50
seconds?
within
into
a-
the game?
55 seconds, within
55
1
seconds.
minute.
And do you know what? We talk about this, but there is nothing more destructive than quick ball.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Because, I mean, you could see the Queen's defence had
They had their heads
they-
were spinning.
Yeah.
You know what
They
I
didn't know where to go.
I think the fans were still in their first sip of beer.
I know.
Behind us, and all like, what the heck is going on? And we score under
and
a
it
minute.
was. So we go 7-0 up, and I must admit, I don't know about you lot, but I thought that's too early because we've been there before. And lo and behold, what happened? I know. Did we go 14-0 up? I can't even remember what happened.
I haven't written it down.
I don't know
I don't know because remember Chandler Cunningham himself.
Oh no, we went 7-7.
An amazing diarrhea of a try,
that was the other end.
And 7-7.
And I don't know about you, but when I saw that, I thought, ooh, that was a bit easy. And I got a little bit worried that they went straight down.
But that was after he'd already smashed Bernard, wasn't it? Because there was. I mean, there was so much happening in that game. It was like I had to watch the replay back.
Do you know what? Thank God for Bernard's mullet, because when he got smashed by Chandler South, we were miles away from it.
It was.
But we were able to identify which player had been smashed because we saw the mullet fly out. And I also think it actually softened his landing. And of course, he looked a bit groggy, but it could have been a lot worse.
But I mean, it looked like a back injury to me.
It did.
I mean, there are mates actually from London Irish.
Yeah,
we
of course
should
they
say.
are.
Obviously, Cunningham South tried to, it lifted
Yeah,
Bernard up after,
yeah.
But yeah, it was one of those, and I thought, God, that did look so painful.
And then he goes and scores.
Then he goes and scores, so double whammy.
But then we then score again.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was because there was one try. It was a Genji try.
14 minutes. Genji.
Was an absolute.
That was amazing.
Dumbing about 3 people, thinking there were 3 to 4 Bristol players outside him.
No, but it was before that because I actually tweeted something. It was offloading heaven, wasn't it? Because there was about 5 ridiculous offloads off the ground. Vakatawa, Luatua. Basically, anybody had an at the end of their name. And then Randall got it and went he went backwards, forwards, backwards, sideways. Got to Genji. Genji threw the dummy.
Yeah.
He did what Joe Joyce should have done at Saracens last year, 2 years ago.
Kept the ball.
Don't pass it. Throw the dummy. And then he actually cantered in.
Oh, he did.
And he was right in front of us when he did that.
It was amazing.
We went mental. We went chicken oriental in the front.
Well, I was shouting, pass, and it was like, no, don't.
Benji put the ball down, looked at you, and went, "I know best." But honestly, the Quins fan, we were just up and down like yo-yos. 1 minute we're up, then we're down, then we're up, then we're down, then the Quins are up, then they're down, then
It was.
So we get to, and then of course what happens? They go and score again, and then and I think we got to 14-all, didn't we? And I was thinking, I'm not sure how this game's going to go because I can't remember the actual timeline. But then we had a few injuries. Bernard's gone off. Genji goes off in the first
which
half.
was a bad one.
And then of course Callum.
We should say that Genji's injury, I think, is quite a bad one.
Potentially
I don't think we'll see him for a long time.
His, summer tour, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then also Callum, who up to that point had a great game.
Well, do you know what? With Callum, because you could see he was just about to, thinking in his head he's going to crossfield kick, wasn't he? And then all of a sudden,
got absolutely mullerised.
Yeah, and I know Flatman had said, watching back on replay, saying it could be Achilles.
Yeah.
So
because he actually tried to. We watching him because we went on to Sheedy watch after that.
Yeah.
And we saw him once he'd had a bit of work from the physios. He obviously wanted to carry on.
He tried to carry on,
he couldn't even put his foot down on the go. He was hopping across. It's a bit like those horrible things in the Grand National when a horse falls and then his wet leg goes over. And they said no.
Callum
covers around. They had to divert the game around Callum Sheedy, like they divert around. And poor old Sheeds went off, which was probably not the way he wanted to. But I'd like to tell him.
Yeah.
But that was a golden 20 minutes of.
Yeah.
It was great to see him back to what I would say the Sheedy best, and actually makes you think. He I don't know. Maybe he's been shackled a bit. I don't know, but he looked good. He looked great, didn't he?
And we should say this is a guy who's he's already signed for Cardiff Blues next year and played his absolute art out for Bears, and we love that. Absolutely love that.
And actually, in many ways, that is a kind of testament to the thing we've discussed on and off, this whole thing about the culture and the system and playing for each other. And it's not about individuals, it's about people doing the right thing. And that kind of Callum's performance, albeit a small one kind of is what is a personification of what that is all about.
Yeah.
And I think we have to offer caps to
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
kind of what it's about.
And he's a founding member, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he absolutely was.
But we wish him well. And we really do wish him
Yeah.
well. And, we'll see him back at the gate, maybe in Europe sometime.
To be honest, I was even thinking I might actually go to Cardiff one Saturday afternoon
Why
and
not?
watch him play.
Why not? Why not? So anyway, we get to half time and we're in the lead, but we had our little half time chat, didn't we?
We're 7 points up, aren't we? 21-14.
And our little half time chat, Miles, you were right. It's going to be tough. We know it's going to be more points in this game. We've lost a lot of players to injury. We were a bit nervous. We had a good chat with the Quins fans next to us. They were saying, they're saying you're playing brilliant stuff. I mean, we'd actually butchered at least 2 really good tries. Can you remember who it was?
Oh, God.
Was it disallowed try?
There was a knock on Thax. No, Thacker.
Thax was a knock on.
Yeah, and Thacker was a penalty because he almost got to the line. He did that thing where he took his hands off it and dropped it, and I think the ref penalised him. And he was a metre short.
It was Heward, wasn't it?
On with a fantastic break, wasn't it? I forget who it was, but somebody we just sighed through their defence. It was probably Malin's actually, and then Heward was you would have. I mean, ironically, in the second half, he scored one just like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could be honest. We were 21-14 up at half time. It could easily have been.
We lost Genji and Sheedy in the same minute, hadn't we? 2 of our key players. I'm not being funny, but we were a brick in it, weren't we? We'd lost JVR at 3 minutes. We'd lost Genji at 36. We'd lost Shido. 3 of our major players in the Bristol Bears at 36 minutes. I know we were 21-14 up at the half time. However, we know what Quins are capable of, and we did some half time interviews. I mean, I wouldn't say we were going to that second half enthusiastic about getting a win. Were you?
No,
were you?
I disagree. For some reason, well, I know what reason was. I was really optimistic because I think the way that we'd come out from the off. And the way we'd played, and we were creating so many chances. Like we say, we butchered 2.
Yeah.
And even though it was a 7-point game at half time, I kind of thought we should be well ahead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was the injuries, but I did feel really optimistic, and I think that's because over the last kind of 2 months, say, the replacement bench has been brilliant. So we've had guys coming on who have been equally as good as the players who were starting. So I guess I was quite optimistic that the guys we're bringing on would do a job.
And it's funny because I went to that Q&A that Pat did a couple of weeks ago at the Bristol Beer Factory.
When he was asking
where
I was.
Yeah, here's something, and I know a few people know this, but let's just digress a moment. So everyone knows that there was that very limited supporters Q&A at the HPC that you had to be like get a ticket in a millisecond. But apparently I've heard from different sources that have been corroborated, peer reviewed, and I've done a randomised trial on it, so I'm pretty sure this is true.
Sure it's true.
Is that Pat Lamb's first comment was, "Is Lee from Bears Beyond the Gate here?" Because apparently he thinks I talk bollocks. Apologies to the families.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he said, Lee.
Well, I've never actually said that.
No, you haven't.
And I think we should clarify that.
I think you've got the platform now.
Yeah, no, I do, and it's not backing down because I say as I see it, and I always will. So we've gone through a period which wasn't great, and I think we'd all agree.
Yeah.
And I called it as I saw it.
This was New Year's. It was your New Year's. It was after the Exeter game, and you wrote a post article.
That's
it
right.
was kind of Pat's New Year's resolutions type thing.
Yeah, and what I actually did, I didn't call for a Z.
Nope.
So that never ever happened.
Nope.
A lot of people have attributed those comments to me. But what I did call for is clarity and honesty.
Yeah.
And I still would always want that from my coach. And I think we've got that now.
Yeah.
We've got that now. But that needs to carry on.
Yeah.
That clarity and honesty needs to carry on. I mean, I don't want to go through any more mists, put it that way. But yeah, and the thing is, I'd always be the same. I'd always be honest. I can't. There's a lot of Bristol Bears fans who are who think the sun shines every single day, and it hasn't, has it?
Nah.
And all I do is say what I see. It's a bit like Roy Walker on Catchphrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just say what you see. Say what you see. And that's what we try and do. But we also appreciate that people, there's real people involved and whatnot. And so that I think that's been dealt with.
Yeah.
Well done. That's dealt with. So if Pat's listening,
well done, mate.
Lee it's not in not any way were we trying to be disrespectful.
No, none
he was
at all.
just saying as he sees. And we also absolutely loved like the fact that we've had a turnaround this season. And actually, that is massive credit because that's kind of what we've been told.
That's what Lee asked for.
That's what he asked for,
and that's what was delivered.
And obviously, Pat, he did think about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't know about it. And he obviously, you say it's Steve Lansdowne that rang him up, but I think
it was Lee Andrews.
When Steve Lansdowne rang up, Steve's like, Pat's like, oh, all right, Steve, I've already had Lee from Bears on the Cape. Call me.
Give it a rest.
Give it a rest. And then, so anyway, joking aside. But anyway, we got in the second half, boys, and we started really well. I seem to remember we scored, and I thought, hey, this is good. And as you rightly say, the system players were doing their job. But then, it seemed to me, my impression, and I haven't I watched the highlights again, so I can't say for sure, but my impression was that a lot of their tries, and they played well, they're a great side. I love Harlequins, but we gifted them some possession for that. And we know that the Harlequins, as we know from bitter experience, if you give them a chance, they're clinical.
Well, there was one that I do remember quite clearly is when Siva kind of overran the ball, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
Luke Northmore
kicked it through, and then he kind of juggled it, didn't he?
It was brilliant. It was well
finish.
taken. Because,
there's always a good finish, but it's what you get. What started it off is the problem.
Yeah.
And I felt as though there was a couple of moments where we tried too hard.
Yeah.
And, I think they got to 28-27, didn't they? And it got to 28-27.
Yeah, like 60 minutes.
And I was thinking,
it was a bit uncomfortable,
this ain't
wasn't
right.
it?
This ain't right.
But we should say, in our defence, that was because of the reshuffle we've had. I mean, it was, Max Malians was playing at fly half, and you know what I mean? We had to change the whole ethos of what we were doing. So that kind of thing, up to that point, we were brilliant. That kind of thing is going to happen at some point.
Because basically, when Callum went off and when Van Rensburg first, then Callum, we were wondering what the hell we were going to do. And because Remy had already come on and we thought, well, hang on, who's going to go if Jimmy Williams goes fly half? Because that's been the narrative. Who's going to go centre?
Yeah.
And actually, I'm pretty sure Max Malins went fly half. Did he? Or did he go centre?
No, Max Leaf.
He went
Max Leaf.
Sorry.
Max Leaf has scored that many tries now. He fancies he's become the new.
You're right. Max Malins went to number 10, didn't he?
But Max Leaf is the new John Afoa. He thinks he fancies it. Actually, on another aside, when he scored his third try in 3 weeks, he gave a little wink to the camera on the big screen.
It was the eyes, wasn't it?
And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you now. Over the summer, because we know Max lives around here, you'll see him. I bet you will see him in Greville Smythe Park practicing the no-look pass because he wants to be the new John Afoa, and I want him to be the new John Afoa. But I love the fact that little look. Anyway, we can reshuffling. You're right. It always takes a bit of time when you shuffle the deck. Shuffle the deck. You got to, and we got to 28-27, and I did think, this is a bit unfair. This is typical. I think we're the better team. I think we've played better rugby, but we've been a bit sloppy at times. We've gifted them a bit of. We cannot allow them to do this. But then after that, we just put a foot on the pedal, didn't we?
And we should say it was Max Balians.
It was Max Balians. What a great signing!
He was great.
That is, and we said this, when he was on loan from Sarries, a few years ago. That guy has just got the best rugby head on his shoulders, hasn't he? I mean, I do honestly. I think he could play in so many positions and still be outstanding.
He's got to get in the England squad again.
You're right.
It'd be a travesty if he.
However, first half of the season, post World Cup, we were thinking like, crikey, has he made an awful decision to join Bristol Bears?
You're right.
The chips are down. They were making some terrible games. But now, you look at the last 8 games, we've won 7 out of 8.
Yeah.
He switches from position whenever he's required. He's been man of the match a couple of times. He's thinking like, clearly I've made the best decision.
But you know what?
Now you're knocking on the door of England again. I think brilliant.
Do you know what as well? It's been good about the last few games is is under the high ball.
Oh,
he hasn't dropped a ball, has he?
That Sarries game.
That Sarries game,
that
they
was
peppered him.
phenomenal.
And they tested him.
And they tested him, and it was, he didn't falter. It was other reasons we lost that. Same again. Quinn's box kicked quite a lot under the high ball, and that is quality.
Yeah.
That is. He's. You look at him, and I like this guy, Freddie Stewart. I like him. I like George. The one with the tash bank.
Fairbanks.
But got to look. To me, Malins is a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the flair of Furbank.
Well, he had a beard for 1 week, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but he realised that don't change who you are, and he put that beard on, and I think he realised that's not me.
It's not me.
I don't want to look like a scarecrow. I'm Max Malins. I want to look. I might have a slightly sloppy rig, but he's got that kind of something about. He's got Gus Scott-esque look to him, hasn't he? That he's elusive.
Yeah. I just think
solid and elusive.
Tongue out running.
Someone that can play so well at fullback could go to flying half and just and play a blinder.
But we don't want him. We don't want him to be that guy that's flipped. We
Oh,
want him to be fullback.
Yes.
Someone else has got to step up next season to be. We need. I'm not, as you know, I'm not a big fan of playing people out of position.
We know that.
And that's what he is. But anyway, so after that, boys, we talked about the Heath try. There was another worldie from
Heward, 71 minutes.
It was a break, wasn't it? And then it was Max Malins again.
Yeah.
Pop to Heward.
That last pass to Heward was.
Heward. Should we mention him? What do you like Heward?
Well, absolutely. Going to Queen's, you've got to put your best offensive side and your best defensive side. Let's not get away from that fact. And we found out last week that Steve was a little bit lacking in his defensive side and his positional awareness. We asked for Heward to step up, and he blimmin' well did. He was put in at first place, first choice.
Yeah.
And he was bloody great. Bloody great.
And I think on that note, it's a good point actually that I like the fact that because we got strong competition, players know they've got to be an 8 out of 10 to keep their place.
It's like we saw Rich Lane after the game, didn't we? Rich Lane's been one of the unluckiest players in the last few weeks.
The guy's
he's brilliant. Absolutely.
But we know that I think Rich Lane knows that he will step in at fullback
and do a job.
And do a massive job.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then, so basically, before we knew it, boys, the game had gone away. The Quins fans were all leaving early.
The Quins fans were walking, weren't they, 70 minutes?
Miles was giving it the old cheerio, and I don't think it was becoming.
Hang on a minute, that wasn't just me. It wasn't just me.
Both were, but expect it from Lee, but from you.
Yeah, I know.
It's not very becoming.
Yeah, I know.
It was a bit football-y, Miles, and I was actually apologising because I had this lovely little girl, she was doing the GCSEs actually next week. I had to apologise, and I said I'm really sorry about that bloke because I don't think that's very respectful.
I got led astray by Lee. Football mentality.
I'm going to hold my hand up. Right, I did entice Miles into that a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually now when I think about it, it was wrong of me.
It was poor.
So
it was a bit arrogant, I think.
I hold my hand up, and it was unbefitting to the actual occasion.
It's a very fine line banter. Because we did quite a lot of. They were doing Quinn. Oh no, what was it? There was a nice little beat where they were going come on you Quins, come on you Quins, come on you Quins, and then it got quiet. We went come on you Brizzle, come on, and they liked that. It was.
And we were waiting for them to go quiet so we could sing.
And then we did our bit.
And actually, the young girls who were on the coach with us, they could hear us.
Yeah, they said they heard us. They said they heard some sort of horse.
I'm afraid we have to hold our hands up. We got a little bit into the football mentality.
You did, Miles. You did.
All right, but I got led astray by a Spurs fan.
You is a combination of Lee Andrews and about 5 pints of London Pride is a disaster.
I'm going to hold my hands up and say I was a little bit ashamed that standing on the seat in front of me, jumping in the air, something like, yay!
Mate,
it's. I think it's that immaturity.
Yeah, you shouldn't be looking at a 16-year-old girl going, who are you? Who are you? You shouldn't be doing that, Miles. They're going to be debating that in the House of Lords.
You're right, because I was looking behind me, looking at Queen's fans, going like, get in! I was a little.
You turned round like a man possessed and went, Queen's.
Oh yeah. I saw the devil in his eye.
Right. It was the devil. The devil got to him. The devil was in
I'm going to
Miles.
tell you what got to me. The London Pride. The London Pride got to me. That's horrible London beer got to my veins.
No, mate, it was anything that's over 3.8%.
You imagine he was drinking ESB.
Oh my
We'd be in
God.
big trouble.
Oh,
He wouldn't have
yeah.
made it to
So
the coach.
you're right. Looking back on it, retrospectively, you could say.
Yeah, we'll hold our hands up to
Hold
that.
our hands up.
I was quite respectful. I
Well,
thought.
you were, yeah, but me and Miles.
You're right.
will.
You know, for me, clearly a fan of not the wrong shaped ball. I felt a bit disgraced. I felt a bit dirty at the end of the game.
But thanks for bringing us up on our teach.
With my during quiz.
He's just trying to get us back because we called him out for dropping the beers all over the coach.
That was a shock. I can't get over that. I honestly, I don't know what I was doing. It was like I just got the yips with I was opening. The thing is, it was an executive coach, but the leg room was really small, and they had those tiny little tray tables.
Yeah.
And I'd put the beer on the tray table. I did the cardinal mistake of opening it a little bit first. Then I thought, I need to get my phone out and check my socials. And in the process of getting the phone out, I knocked the beer over, and I just forgot that I'd opened it, and it was a nightmare. It was like it was spurting everywhere. That's why I had to put it in a plastic bag.
I mean, in your defence, I would say those tray tables, when you bring them down, it's almost like they're an extension of a bib as a baby.
It was like,
and you certainly were
I mean,
the baby.
Lee, can I just say we all had our wrongs throughout the day, but can I just say I think Pete's was worse.
Oh, well,
absolutely.
That's why I went hard on the Cheerio, because I know in my heart of hearts, that was the biggest disgrace of the day.
Exactly,
5 minutes into a coach journey, with the chair, the person who organises the coaches sat next opposite me,
crying,
giving you tissues to wipe up the beer.
But I know what it's like with school trips with coaches. You go to the driver and say, "Don't worry, I'll look after. I'll make sure there's no litter. I'll make sure, blah blah blah." And you and then some idiot spills beer, and it was rolling down. It was like a river. And like there was people's.
Shall we all agree to take our learnings then?
Totally, and that is.
We'll talk about it before the next coach shift. Yeah.
And if I don't learn from that, I'm a disgrace. I'm sorry about that. I apologise to Eagle coaches, to the that amazing guy that drove us, who was a lovely guy.
What a brilliant driver.
The committee, Jesus Christ, everybody. I apologise to.
Love it.
Anyway, so boys, is there anything else we can say about the game? I feel like that was one of the most in-depth analysis we've done of a game this season. We did the chronological bit by bit. I mean, should we just finish off with a couple of comments, general comments about? Personally, I thought that games like that, you don't win 50 points unless your forwards are playing well.
No.
And I thought they were phenomenal again.
They were.
And Quince have got a good pack. There's been a lot of chat about Finn, that young lad
Baxter.
who looks about 12, Finn Baxter. They were played off the park. Don Brandt, Cunningham South. Yeah. And the fact that those boys got their foothold early and we negated them, I think is huge credit to Batley, to Dunn, who did 70 plus minutes, to Luatua, to Harding, Bradbury. I mean, those boys put shifts in. And then our front row replacements.
Yeah. Equally as good.
Big Jake, great interview.
Yeah. 150
caps. Max Laheath, the new John Afoa, and Ogray came on and joined the party as well. And actually, that's an interesting thing. I saw something in the media about Ogray might be in the frame for an England call up, and I was like, how can you say he's a great player, but how can you say that and not say Thacker? No. That's poor journalism. So poor.
That is. I mean, you're right. A couple of other extra trick points that basically, the chips were down, weren't they, when we lost Genji, JVR and Sheedy, but every single substitute on the day stepped up to a level we've never seen before. Yeah. I mean, did we ever think that Vrimi Vakatawa was to come on and smash the centre?
Some people might have done. Yeah, because he has done it about minutes. Right, 37 times for France. But I know what you're saying. He hasn't shown it as much. We wouldn't have. There would have been doubt.
We would have been a little bit doubtful that he could have pulled off a whole half, fitness-wise and agility. Half and 33 minutes. You're absolutely right. So that's what I'm saying. The subs stepped up massively. The game control in the second half, knowing that we'd lost some of our best players on the pitch, was can I dare say, phenomenal. Yeah. And so a massive tip that, and Pat alluded to this.
Did he allude to it
in his post-match?
He's the new Pat Lam.
It's the penultimate part of the season.
Pat alluded to this in a post-match interview with Martin Bayfield. The fact that the Bears' system paid off. The players in reserve know when to step up and play exactly as they should do. And I hate to say, for once, we've got to agree with Pat Lamb. They stepped up. They played into the system, and it paid off. You know, what an absolutely great game.
That's why we should have never ever doubted ourselves to begin with at the start of the season when we were kicking that stupid ball away.
You're absolutely right, mate.
It's not the
It's
way
not
we
the
play.
way, is it?
And not
the
playing
way.
players in funny positions.
And this is going to sound really critical, so Pat's going to be probably ripping my head off, you know,
we'll
by
pay
tomorrow
money for that.
morning.
We can do tickets. can't we?
But this will sound really critical, but actually, when you think about it, when we were kicking those balls, kicking the ball away in those early games, we missed out on the odd bonus point here or there, and actually that could have made the difference at the end of the season.
Well, the funny thing is, we won as many games as almost anyone, didn't we? And have you got
Miles has got some brilliant
Now,
stats.
hang on, well, not me. I cannot take credit, but some amazing. It's gone off. Is it?
You won.
That's right. We'll come back to you on it.
Well, I'll tell you what,
basically, actually, we could kind of talk
Allude
about
to it.
We're not talking.
I'll tell you what we'll do while Miles is looking.
You can't allude twice, can we?
While he's looking up the stats, I think what we'll finish is because we one of the things we've done this season, we've tried to introduce poetry into rugby punditry.
We do.
And there have been one or two players that have listeners
Sorry,
that have
we'll come back to it.
who have stepped up massively, and we did award our sort of poet of the season.
Well, you did.
I did, yeah. But I think you agreed with me, didn't you?
I don't know. I thought you went quite early.
But Hammy thinks he's won it.
Yeah, well, he has won it because you've said it. And you're the teacher,
and he can't. But he was good.
But I do feel like you've created a rift in the family,
I know,
which,
and Robin,
which might take decades to heal.
I know. I feel a bit. But we did have a couple. We have had 3. We haven't asked for them this weekend.
Yeah.
Mainly because I was too busy playing cricket and stuff, and I couldn't do it. But Lee, we've got 3 good ones, haven't we?
We've got 3 good ones,
and I think we're going to. I think we're going to pass over to you to read them out for us.
Well, I'm reading this out because obviously you smashed your phone up today at cricket.
That was the other thing. Yeah.
So we've got now. Bear with me, okay? Because I don't normally do this. This is normally your section, but we've got an acrostic from Hammy Hambley.
So he's our winner. So he's now showboating, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely.
Punching down.
Well, let's see what he says.
So you'll have to, maybe you can work this one out, fellas. Cracking 5-point win against Quins with 7 tries. Optimism can be a killer. Misery and joy at the end of the season. Evil Sarries did us in the end. Our style of rugby needs a plan B at times.
I'm still with you.
Never seen so many injuries in a game. You can always rely on Genji.
Yeah.
Once a bear, always a bear. Thank you, Leavers. Unbelievable second half to the season.
Yeah.
BJVR injury gutting. He's been the signing. Ended in a respectable 5th place. Alas, if only we started the season like this. Really hope we sign another 10. Super Max.
I've got it.
Hang on,
I've got it.
I've
got it.
Miles
I
is
tell you,
good
this
at
is why I'm
these.
a teacher, not a pupil.
I've got it.
Good at these.
So, shall we give it a moment?
No.
Let the listeners. Give the listeners 5 seconds because I can
Okay.
imagine people working it out themselves. I can hear people shouting in their houses the answer, and then Miles, what is it?
So I've got the medic versus the teacher. Come on, you bears.
He's got it.
That is unbelievable.
He's got it. He is pretty good at these.
That's why I crowned him early last week.
Yeah.
There's no coming back from that. That's like he's won the Premier League and he's already like in the Champions Cup in the final. That is unbelievable.
That is, I'm loving that.
So, Hammy, that is class. But we got a couple of others though.
Yes, we have. We've got Marcus Watts, which equally is good.
Yeah, can we just say we are going to do a pod next week actually where we're going to do a bit of a roundup of the season and some awards. And I'm hoping, and I say this because if I say it, I'll do it, to get a Google form together and ask our listeners to do some nominations for various things. So look out for that.
I'm sorry, I thought we were going to nominate our listeners. I thought we were doing a podium for our listeners, like
Oh no, we do that as well.
We could do that.
No, that could be part of it.
We really could do that.
Yeah, but I was thinking we could do
absolutely.
player of the season, but we ask our listeners to vote.
Yeah.
And then we go on the vote to the listeners, but we could do other things. Yeah,
And we can nominate our...
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah, we've got all
I
sorts.
think,
We could
I
do
think
whatever we want.
Marcus Watts is going to be...
I think he's in the running, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he's been a very loyal supporter. We've met him a few times at the rugby, at the women's games particularly. And very, very... You know, it's people like that. He's like a bedrock supporter.
He
isn't
is. He's a foundation.
He's like one of those ones that a debenture.
Yes.
Anyway, bring him out then.
So this is what we've got, and this I do love this. Can I do it in my Bristolian accent?
Whatever you want.
Of course.
Is there any other one?
There was a young lad called Smith. His hair in a permanent quiff. The backing of the stoop, but it all went to poop as the Bears won with guile and biff.
I've got to say that is.
That has got to be the poem of the season. Well, we might vote on it.
In fact, we've got two categories because Hammy Hambley's won the acrostic of the year, but that's a limerick.
That's poetry.
So Marcus is limericks.
Yeah.
We've got acrostic, limericks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then what was the third one you had?
Well, I'm trying to find. I think it was Robin Hambley.
I think it was because I think
Come back from the brother.
because I think he wanted to get involved. While you're waiting for that, actually, I just remembered I got another one, another acrostic, and I've already anointed Hammy Hambley as acrostic for the year, but we did get an email yesterday from Rachel Pierce, big friend of the pod. And she emailed me at 17:41 on Saturday. So that is 40 minutes after the game, unprompted. And it's another acrostic. So, boys, is one for you to see if you work it out. You ready for this?
Yeah.
She said, it didn't even say hi. She just went, I want to get this in first time. And it said, here we go. Exciting. Not afraid of a reshuffle. Dependable Luatua. Ogre impressive. Fits directorship. Sale annoying win. Extra points for Malins and Ibatoy. A sad face from Randall upon Sale news.
I've got it already.
So many disappointed Bears fans. Oh, how different it could have been. No more Bears beyond the gate until next season. No!
Go on, Lee.
Should we give the listeners 5 seconds? Got him.
I'm going to hand it over.
Well, to be fair, Miles did get this before me, but it's definitely going to be end of season, isn't it?
End of season.
100%.
Oh, I love it.
Quality. Boys, you're quite good at this, Miles, I got to say.
Miles is...
It's like one of
really
those guys
good,
that's like slightly weird and good at like crosswords and stuff like that. Yeah, bit on the spectrum.
I still can't find Robin Hambley's.
Oh, Robin Hambley. You was... Oh, Robin.
But one thing I will say, I did love the little... Carwyn Jones, I did love the shrine to Callum Sheedy pre-game.
On an audio pod, we're both looking at a picture of something on Twitter, but if you want to see it, it's Carwyn Jones, which is at Cones Jarwin.
Yeah.
Okay, so look it up on Twitter because he's another big fan of the pod, and he's put, his shrine to Callum Sheedy, which is not creepy at all, is it?
It's not creepy at all, but I do feel it needs a leak. And a couple of daffodils, and we're fully committed.
Yeah, I think so. But whilst you're talking about that, I was doing? I was using my iPad to search very quickly for Robin Hambley, and I'm trying to find out where he did it on replies, not on posts. That's where you went wrong. And here we go. Oh no, you've done hang on, I thought Robin did that. There was I know that was Marcus Watts. So Hammy did that.
We got Stephen Britton. Let's do Steve
Britton. Yes, you've got to do Steve Britton. Do Steve Britton. So when you're ready, I will do this because Miles has now left the room to go to the toilet because he's had 2 pints on a Sunday night. But obviously it's a bit like when we had all that rain recently and the water table has gone up and it's saturated. That's a bit like Miles' bladder.
Well, he's had 2 pints. Why is he sitting down on your toilet?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So go on then. I'm going to do this. This is This is Steve Britton.
Steve Britton.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
Bristol demons exercised. Replacements were sublime. Ibatoy, my man of the match. 7 stupendous tries. Thacker, amazing as always. Overcome the odds. Looking forward to next season already.
Is that it?
Yeah. It's easy. That one's easy.
I'm really rubbish.
That one's easy.
I can't get it at all. I'm not one of these.
Because
Miles
has just come back.
Can I just talk about cause and effect? The cause of drinking too much beer is I've just had to dip out for a whiz.
We've already talked
Oh,
about that.
sorry. And I come in and Pete's acrostic failure. Is that right?
Yes.
I can't get it.
So Miles, here we go.
Go on, let's go for it. Yeah.
I'll read it out again. This is from Steve Britton. Bristol demons exorcised. Replacements were sublime. Ibatoy, my man of the match.
Yeah.
7 stupendous tries. You've got it already, haven't you? Thacker, amazing as always. Overcame the odds. Looking forward to next season already. Come on, that one's easy. It's Bristol.
Oh, I've just read something really bad. There's a bit of a controversy here. Hammy Hambley, he did one last week about, cracking 5-point win with 7 tries. Optimism. This was the one. He's done another one. Optimism can be a killer. Misery and joy at the end of the season. Evil Sarries. Robin, blah, blah, blah. Robin Handley's come in with amazing what ChatGPT can do. Oh my God.
See,
it could be a steward's inquiry. I'm going to have to run this through some academic honesty software. Hammy Hambley, I think we're going to have to put that championship
lucky enough,
on hold.
We're doing one last pod next week.
Next week we're going to have to. We're going to put that on hold. It's now champion acrosticker is pending, with independent verification coming in the week.
We're going to run it through
boys,
software.
I suspect that people are starting to lose interest in our pod at the moment.
Anyway,
so
you're right. Absolutely.
We need to finish up. I think we've wrapped up the game. I'd like to think that the listeners have got the joy. I've got a sense of the joy. One of the best days of our life yesterday.
The
best. It was such a great day. We had such a good time. Great company, great atmosphere, great ground.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wrap it up. We did say that we'll do another. We're going to try and do another one next week where we try and wrap up the season and do a few awards. As is the way. I haven't quite planned it yet, but
absolutely.
we will deliver.
And Miles has also got his stats.
Well,
to back up.
we've got a few.
Should we save them for next week?
Let's save them for next week.
Because that's the end of the season pod facts.
Yeah.
Which I'll take a screenshot. A couple of things this week. We got a big tick and a massive congratulations to Bristol Bears women who smashed Leicester 62-24 back at Ashton Gate this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of the fans on the coaches on yesterday went to watch that game. So that's put us in, I think, top 4 spot, hasn't it?
We're fourth, yeah.
Fourth, going into the playoffs. So that's a brilliant game for Bristol Bears women. Another little thing. If Bears haven't followed us on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, can I just highly recommend, I hate to say, an alternative podcast run by the Times called the Rock Podcast, and it's called Behind Bears Beyond the Gate.
Isn't it called Behind the Bears?
Behind the Bears. If you've got an hour and 17 minutes of your life spare, obviously after our podcast this week, there's great interviews with Pat Lamb, some players, and Tom Tainton. Have a listen to it. It's just a great insight into where the club are going this season.
Can you imagine if they actually did Behind Bears Beyond the Gate? It'd be like, what? You record it on a box, on a cardboard box in a room. What? You don't have a producer to do all the hard work for you.
Of course
you
not.
don't have a script already. You don't even have microphones to hold when you're doing it. Can you imagine that?
It's the beautiful way that we do it.
I love it.
Well, maybe there's a little fall for the Ruck, for the Times.
Absolutely.
What about Behind Bears Beyond the Gate?
Yeah, they get an interview up to the HBC, and we're still waiting, aren't we, boys?
We're still waiting for the national media to pick us up and propel us forward.
Well, actually, we're still waiting for Tom Tainton to come on the pod.
I think we need to...
Because he called us out a while ago, but
he did.
It's an open invite, Tom.
I think
it's an open invite.
There are a few of us, I say one of us amongst us, who are equal NFL fans who relate to that pod.
Yeah.
And so, maybe beginning of next season, we'd love to have a really good chat with Tom Tainton about...
Are we giving Tom a come and get us plea?
Let's do it.
I think we'll say we should have Tom. Because Tom, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely.
And
Speaks so
I
well.
reckon he could actually give us some quite good advice, actually. So maybe we should do it for that.
He can also teach you two about NFL and all
I'm not
that
interested.
stuff.
Mate, I'm not interested. I'm honestly not interested in NFL. I find the whole NFL thing a bit weird. I gotta say, it's like, which part of Cincinnati did you grow up in? Oh, right, yeah. It's just a bit weird. I kind of feel it's... Anyway, let's not go down that route.
No.
I respect people that like stuff.
Especially if you want Tom to come on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. Oh no, you said NFL. I thought you were talking about NRL. I thought you were talking about Australian Rugby League. No, NFL.
Love it.
Like
Love it.
ring-fenced, entertainment-based sport. I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What can we say?
Mate, we've got to finish this because it's going to go on and on if we don't finish.
We have.
And I don't think we've got nothing to look forward to apart from next week's pod.
Yeah.
We've still got obviously the Bears women are still there, so we'll keep an eye on what they're doing, and they've got glory in their eyes. But
I'm just going to leave with one
word.
word. Just one word.
Go.
Yeah.
Regurgitation. And that will mean that anyone that was on the coach with us
will know what that means.
will know what that means.
Regurgitation. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Leave it there.
And on that note, boys, I've enjoyed it tonight.
I've loved it.
It's been a bit like scoring 50 points in broken play, isn't it? A bit unstructured.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've done well there, and I hope we've got across, why we do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
So for those of you out there who have managed to get through to the end of this, we thank you so much for your support.
Patience.
Your patience. Have a great week. And after
John Phipps still owes us a beer.
Oh yeah, John Phipps was going to buy us a beer. It's quite hard to find someone when there's 12,000 people there, isn't it?
There is.
But after 3, what do we say at the end of this? 1, 2, 3. Up the Bears.
Up the Bears.